And now, your host, Couch Tomato!
Hey, I'm Couch Tomato, and I'm joined by...
Hulk.
Welcome to Stuff for Movie Buffs, and today we're talking...
Doctor Strange predictions.
All right, before we get into all of that, I need everybody to put their right hand on their heart, left hand in the air. You know how we do. Repeat after me with this creed. Ladies and gentlemen, say I.
I.
Say your name.
Hulk.
I'm a movie fan.
Am a movie fan.
As a movie fan.
As a movie fan.
I won't get mad.
I won't get mad.
I can't get mad.
I can't get mad.
And I'll keep my anger to myself.
And I will keep my anger to myself.
And if I'm watching this on YouTube, I will not, if I saw the movie in another country, I won't spoil the hell out of it. You could just add that 2 cents in there for this week, because every time we do these predictions episodes, we're in America. So what's been happening, Hulk, is other countries, like Australia and I don't know, the United Kingdom and stuff like that, they get it first. And then when they see these videos, they just go ahead and, you're right, you're wrong, this happens and stuff. Honestly, I don't care. Spoilers for me don't ruin the movie, but I just want to be on the safe side. So some background information. Hulk and I have not seen Doctor Strange, but the week before a major release like this comes out, we try to make predictions and we try to see if we're in line with what actually happens in the movie. Maybe we're right and our predictions come to pass. And if we're wrong, we just erase the database and you guys never hear about it again. But as a movie fan, it's fun. So if you're watching this on SoundCloud or wherever, just go ahead and leave your predictions in the comment sections. If you're watching it on YouTube, go ahead and leave your comments as well. If you're watching this on iTunes, go ahead and leave us a rating and review. That's how you help out the show. So if this is your first time hearing about Doctor Strange, Hulk, for those people who've never heard of Doctor Strange, can you go ahead and enlighten them with a healthy summary, sir?
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
All right. For Dr. Stephen Strange, life changes after a car accident robs him of the use of his hands. When traditional medicine fails him, he looks for healing and hope in a mysterious enclave. He quickly learns that the enclave is at the front of the line of battle against the unseen dark forces bent on destroying reality. Before long, Strange is forced to choose between his life of fortune and status or leave it all behind to defend the world of the most powerful sorcerer in existence, Doctor Strange.
All right, that's awesome. So usually around this time of the show, we give you guys 3 things we liked and 3 things we loved about a movie. We're not going to do that this week. Obviously, we haven't seen the movie. So we're just going to play the guessing game. Things that we have seen, we've seen the trailer. So we'll talk about the trailer. We're also going to guess what McGuffins may show up. If you haven't already, Hulk, just have a definition for McGuffin for those people out there who don't know what it is. Also, we'll talk about villains and possible cameos. Last thing we're going to talk about is who will die. Usually in comic book movies, somebody dies. So we're going to guess that. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and include, will this movie be good? Because believe it or not, comic book movies aren't always great. So now we could kind of guess if it's going to be good or bad. So trailer wise, we'll talk about the trailer. So I saw the first one and I was like, Saw the second one, Hulk, and I was like, again. Saw a couple of TV spots on IMDb and I was like,
Yeah.
In my circles, and you're kind of in my circles as well, Hulk. We know we have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
2 things that me and you like. We like movies and we like sports. But a lot of our friends, they just like sports. You know, they're casual movie fans, and that's the reason that I did this podcast, like where I try to, at least add 2 cents of the average viewer. A lot of, my homeboys and stuff like that, they think this movie's going to be whack. They aren't excited. Doctor Strange is something, I always told them, like, Doctor Strange is something, if someone explains it to you, it sounds really, really boring. But trust me, it's not. His world is cooler than Thor's, in my opinion. I watched the animated movie a while back, and I fell in love with Doctor Strange. It's everything that was cool about Iron Man and everything that was cool about Batman Begins. So I think they're going to follow that animated film, like, plot for plot. I can't remember if that film came out in like 2007 or 2011, but it was something that was
it was a while back.
Yeah. It was on Netflix and it was on it's on Hulu now. So before you watch the movie, there's no proof. I'm just playing a guessing game that's the beats that the movie's gonna follow. But I'm just if I were a betting man, I'll put all my money on that's gonna be the movie that you guys see. And that animated film, like I'm excited about Doctor Strange, but I understand trailers aren't what makes me excited about this film. Like the trailers aren't going to win me over.
Yeah.
I'm confident right now that Marvel knows what they're doing. So it's my faith in Marvel. I'm willing to bet that the movie will be 2.5 times better than the trailers are. So that's just my 2 cents. So tell me what you got from the trailer, any aha moments and things like that.
I got the same thing, and it's funny because we talked about like basically our rundown of the fall, like movies we were excited about, and when you discussed your Doctor Strange, like when you when you had it as one of your anticipated, it got me more excited because I had the same impression from you from the trailers. They weren't not necessarily bad, but they didn't
they're not exciting. I
mean,
it
just didn't like, yes, I want to go see Doctor Strange. Like it was just like, like it was just like, it's like I just trust it because it's Marvel.
Yeah.
They never really fail, so it's like I understand, like, okay, maybe the trailer's not, all there, but I'm still gonna go watch because it's Marvel. So I got like the same impression from you. There was just a few instances in the trailer where I was just like, oh, that looked pretty cool. Like where it did like that upside down world type thing.
Inception.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I didn't like the trailer. It was more so, okay, this looks like Inception. This looks like The Matrix. And I personally know what's going to happen in that world. So it fits. Yeah. And I'm not the biggest on, like visuals anyway. Like your action just needs to be on point and the story needs to drive me. So I know what's going to happen in the background just from the little knowledge I do know about Doctor Strange. But the trailer itself, nothing in there had me excited.
Yeah. It's like, because from the impression I got from it was just like Batman Begins meets The Matrix / Inception. So
that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. So
that's what you're going to get. But I mean, that's what Marvel does, like what they do, and they're smart, and I fall for it every time. Like it's getting easier to predict these movies when you think about it, because I think their goal when they're in their board meetings is to have a movie in every genre. I think, okay, we need to do this Thor movie needs to be horror. This is going to be the first horror MCU film. This particular movie, I don't know if that's what they're going to do with Thor Ragnarok. I'm just saying. Captain America Civil War. All right, we got spy thrillers now. Okay, cool. Ant-Man, now we got a heist film. Okay, now we got outright comedies. Like they want movies in every type of genres. I'm going to laugh when they actually decide to do a romantic comedy. Like it's not far-fetched.
No, it's not.
Because this movie is more that sci-fi, that surreal type stuff, that Matrix and Inception whatever subgenre you want to call that, that's what Doctor Strange is. So that's why I'm like, even when you see with the intro, like they gave in the trailer, they give the Marvel intro instead of the comic books. It looks like that, psychedelic type thing. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like one of those acid trip type films, it's going to really mess with your brain. So that's what you're going to get from it. Right now, Marvel is they're taking over. Like it's amazing. And they're doing it so, I don't know, so silently. And not to me, but I don't think these other studios are noticing that they're trying to corner every market.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's very smart because with comic book movies, we're up to like maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 almost a year between DC. Yeah.
It's probably more than that. Yeah. Between Fox, DC, Fox, Marvel, it's crazy. And then you also got Sony, and then you also got some of those smaller comic book stories that you don't know they're comic books, but they're like, okay, it's based off of a comic book. You know what I mean? Like on some Kick A-word type stuff. So those come out every 2 years.
You're constantly in competition with someone, so you have to distinct yourself. You have to separate yourself from all these other companies, and the best way to do that is to hit different genres. Because even I know they don't really consider it part of their catalog, but I remember Big Hero 6 when that came out. Like I just thought like that was very smart of them to even have like an animated feature, even though
it's unfair when you think about it. Actually, I mean, they just have the license to print money. It should be illegal, actually.
Yeah. And it's like you see like these other companies, they're starting to catch on because it was funny when Sony released their slate, they had Spider-Man on there, but they're also doing an animated Spider-Man, which I thought was smart. Like maybe you could get some of that slice of, compete with like the Lego Batman, compete with, some of the animated features like Incredibles, things like that. Because after a while, the market share is only going to get smaller. You know what I'm saying? The general public is not going to go see all of these movies. There are going to be a few flops in there. So why not use your brand that has already been successful with the mainstream audience and connect with the spy thriller audience, the heist movie audience, like just continue to expand because
All right, so that's the easy part because we saw the trailers. Everybody listening to this episode saw the trailers. It has nothing to do with a prediction. So let's get into some meat of the prediction. So now we're going to take this time to actually guess what McGuffins show up in the movie. For a person who's never heard what a McGuffin is, can you go ahead and tell them, DJ Envy?
McGuffin, an object or device in a movie or a book that serves merely as a trigger for the plot.
All right, there we go. Like some of these past McGuffins, definitely the Infinity Stones are the most popular when it comes to the MCU. But not just that. We'll have some examples. You could just kind of have fun with the whole. So,
I believe 2018.
Wow, that's right around the corner. My point is, Marvel better start finding some Infinity Stones. If there isn't an Infinity Stone in this movie, Marvel just doesn't give an F word at this point. I think they missed a golden opportunity to have one in Civil War. I understand not putting one in Ant-Man because at that point, he wasn't guaranteed to stay to become an Avenger at least. But this lends itself well. I always say like Thor's World and Doctor Strange, don't be surprised if you start seeing, magical stones pop up here and there. So I definitely think there's going to be an Infinity Stone in this movie. I'm hoping that, you agree or disagree? Let me hear yours.
I'll be shocked. I'll be floored if I didn't see not one Infinity Stone in this movie. Like this movie is perfect. Like it's designed for an Infinity Stone. Like it screams out like put an Infinity Stone here. Like when you're dealing with reality, possibly time, possibly other dimensions, space. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be dealing with so many different elements in this movie. This needs to have an Infinity Stone, especially when Infinity War, like you said, is around the corner.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you that this lends itself well. Do you know the Infinity Stones?
Not off the top of my head. I always mix them up.
I'm not a genius. I looked this up before the episode, but the Space Stone is one. The Mind Stone is another. Soul Stone, Reality Stone, Time Stone, Power Stone. Power Stone, I think that's what they were dealing with in Guardians of the Galaxy. Mind Stone, obviously that's what's on top of Vision's head. But in this film, I think if an Infinity Stone shows up, at first I thought it was no question Reality Stone has to be in this movie. But that may be too obvious because when you watch the first two trailers and they keep telling them, what if I told you your reality is, is just one of many? So I'm like, oh, wow, it's a bit on the nose there, Marvel. But then there was a TV spot that was released recently where it's showing Doctor Strange rewinding time.
Yeah.
He's willingly rewinding. So I'm like, okay, so out of those two, between time and reality, I think reality is too on the nose. Just like I felt like space should have been in Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel just doesn't do it like that. You know what I mean? So if it's between time and reality, I'm putting my money on time.
Same here.
All right, cool.
Like that one trailer changed.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yep. It was just basically, it had everything in reverse. Yeah. Like some of the beats that we saw in the trailer, like they just had it reversed, and I was just like, that was interesting. Like I didn't know there even was capable of having time travel or anything like that. So I think that's definitely could be like one stone that they could possibly use.
Yeah, coming from someone who loved Terminator 2, loved Days of Future Past, I'm actually sick of time travel, so I hope that it doesn't work like that. Like where I'm just hoping that it could be like little small segments they could alter, but I don't know. I just hate the time travel elements in movies. But whatever, it's an Infinity Stone. I know it's coming. Plus, I just think that opens up the door to whoever dies in Infinity War, you could always be brought back. Yeah. So I'm like, man, come on. So I'm basically hoping that his cape is a McGuffin too. Do you know the origins of his cape, sir?
No idea. What's the? Because I know it seems pretty cool, like the way he flipped it on. Like, I guess it's like, but I just thought like, okay, he has a cape on, but I didn't know like it has like any significance.
It's almost like Harry Potter's cloak of invisibility to where it's been passed down.
Mm-hmm.
So without saying too much, it's the cloak of levitation. What I'm hoping that it's a McGuffin, cause I may be wrong, whatever. If they don't focus on it, I'm not going to focus on it with this podcast as well. But I think that this is how I think that may be a McGuffin. So, like when you have a certain, you put a McGuffin, you put it in the film, it doesn't serve a big purpose, but it introduces somebody who may appear in another film. I'm hoping that they do that. Let me explain. So with the cloak of invisibility, I'm hoping that they provided a meaningful backstory. Like there's some dialogue where basically they explain to Strange, hey, this cloak's been in this family for years. Now I'm sounding so cheesy. I'm not a script writer, whatever, but it's been in the family for years. It used to belong to so-and-so. And they name drop somebody who used to own the cloak. There's this guy called Living Tribunal, and he used to own the cloak. And he's basically like Thanos times 10. But instead of like Thanos using his power for evil, this guy is more of a watcher over the world, and whenever there's an upset balance between good and evil, that's the only time he gets involved. And there's no telling what side he'll be on, like, because if there's a outstanding, overwhelming balance towards the good, he may serve evil a purpose, because he believes that the universe should be in balance. So Google Living Tribunal, and you'll see the guy, like, and you'll be in awe. Like, he's very huge, he's very massive, or whatever. And the only reason that why I bring that up, not him per se, but I'm hoping that the cloak of levitation, it serves as a bridge to another character who's powerful. And the reason I bring that up is because you saw Civil War, right?
Yeah.
It was a rhetorical question. I knew that. So when you look at Black Widow, Black Panther, Iron Man, even Spider-Man, they struggled to defeat Captain America. I think that's kind of sad. Because if you look at the foes that they have coming their way, even if you throw in Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't think that these guys are fit to go toe-to-toe with Thanos. And eventually I know it's coming that he's going to have one Infinity Stone. So at least with one Infinity Stone, I just find it hard to believe that these guys are going to put up a fight. And if they do, to me, it just speaks to how they had to limit Thanos in the MCU. So what I'm hoping is that there's other characters that exist in this MCU that are kind of like a wild card. Like you'll hear them name dropped and you'll understand, okay, this person has the potential to show up down the road if things get too chaotic. Yeah, so I think the cloak of invisibility will be that piece. And also, I don't know what to name this one, but who's the strongest person in the MCU, you would say?
We talking villains or just like out of the heroes?
No, just good guys.
Hulk. I don't want to be biased.
Yeah, Hulk. You think Hulk could go toe to toe with Vision?
Oh Vision. Vision. Yeah, Vision's the end game. Yeah, Vision. Yeah.
Even though they tried to make Scarlet Witch stronger.
They put the wrist
Civil War
on weapons.
I'm thinking that, man, that's just more of scripts. The writers putting stuff into the script. But Vision is, he's the guy. So, but what does Vision have that every other Avenger doesn't have? The
stone. He has a.
So that I'm led to believe that a person could only, have that type of power with the steroid. You need an Infinity Stone to wield that type of energy, that type of power. What I see Doctor Strange doing in the trailers and what I've heard from his backstory and what I've read about the guy, he is a strong character. He's actually one of the strongest characters. You know what I mean? Because intellectually, he's there. Physically, he's there. You know what I mean? Magically, he's there. So I don't think a person like that lends itself well to the MCU because, I don't know, the type of person he is in the comics, you're looking at a snap of his finger, all of their problems could disappear. What I'm hoping is that they explain his strength with the use of, if it's not an Infinity Stone, he needs some type of McGuffin, whether it be an amulet, whether it be, you know what I mean? Something to be like, hey, look, I could do this because I have this. I could do this because I have this cape. I could do this because I have this amulet. So something needs to be there to be like, hey, Doctor Strange, hold this, and this will give you like the key to your power or whatever. So I'm hoping that exists in this movie, and that's what's going to carry that character throughout.
Yeah, I
the
think
MCU.
you're right, and I think his purpose will be especially important in like Infinity War. But I think going forward, I think they're gonna have to limit him just a little bit, or like you said, have like his power be tied to something else, where it's just like not where he's just all powerful. Because like you said, like even with Civil War, when we had like a prediction, I remember just thinking like whatever team Vision is on, that's gonna win.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah,
They won.
because it's like when you have such powerful beings, things like that, it's hard to make it that much more interesting. Because even like with Hulk, it's tough for them to make a Hulk movie because he's so strong, because you can't really kill him. He's indestructible. Even with other movies as well.
He has mental problems though.
Yeah, that too.
That's the thing.
That's what they try to lend itself with. Try to make the character as much vulnerable as possible. So like we'll see what they do with Strange, because like you said, when you have those type of powers, what they're alluding to, where you could control time and space and all these different things and reality itself, like my gosh, like you're pretty strong. Like you're.
And you know, another thing that when in the comics, well, there was another movie that was on Hulk, Netflix too. It's called World War Hulk.
Yeah,
that's the popular thing everybody want to see turned into a movie.
Yeah,
and in that they had the Illuminati, which was Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Tony Stark, and also Doctor Strange. At that time, I said this on an earlier podcast, I didn't know Doctor Strange. That's before I had watched that animated movie. That World War Hulk is what made me watch the animated movie, because I'm like, why is this guy with Mr. Fantastic, Tony Stark, and Professor X? He must be smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were basically like a governing body. Like whenever a decision had to be made, they were the government that propelled that decision. So he's very wise. Like, like he's almost Tony Stark without the sarcasm. So Tony Stark,
without like the playboy aspect and all that.
Yeah, and this guy got the same training that Batman got. He went up into the mountains or whatever. So I gotta think that if something's gonna limit Doctor Strange, it's not far-fetched, but it may be Doctor Strange. Like he might be on that wise Yoda tip where it's like, hey man, I only use my powers for the good of mankind. If you can't show me a reality where it benefits all, like utilitarianism, I can't join this battle. So I think he might be that type of reserved type fellow.
You might be right, because I remember Tilda Swinton's character, she said, we fight the battles the Avengers can't. She made sure like she put that line in there, because I guess they're already like seeing like, okay, geeks are probably gonna be like, oh, where were you guys during Civil War? Where were you guys during the when the aliens attacked? And they're like, no, we fight spiritual battles. We fight, these dark forces with sorcerers and all these different things. So I think I could see that in the future where, and even like with because I remember in Winter Soldier, they name dropped there was like, oh, Stephen Strange, like all the people they wanted to assassinate.
So he was there.
Yeah. So obviously he has a presence, like he's a genius. So maybe. But go ahead.
But the Zola algorithm, it could trace it from the moment that you're born. Like people within there's a chemical makeup of their DNA to where it's almost as if they're destined for greatness. Yeah, so that type of stuff, which was just they threw that in quick, because that was very lame to put in that type of movie. But so Stephen Strange didn't need to be Doctor Strange at that point, because he was a guy already renowned for his research in the medical field. So he probably wasn't even Strange at this time. We don't know how the timeline shapes up. You know what I mean? But let's switch gears real quick, because now it's all about the bad guys. So from the trailer, it's clear cut. It seems like it's pretty clear cut who the bad guy is. With Caecilius or whatever. I watched that because I think they're gonna pull from that animated movie a lot. I don't think he's gonna be the only bad guy. So I think they're basically going to copy the villain's plot for plot from that movie that I saw. So from what you believe, can you speak on the villains and what are your predictions with those guys? What do you believe that there's more than one villain in this movie?
Based off of the trailer, I would say no. But after speaking with you, Like, I think you might be right.
Don't copy my predictions, though. I get
Well,
very
I
offended.
have to. It's like, I can't.
No, that's why it's a prediction. Don't tell me you can't make a prediction.
I've seen the light, and it's like, I can't unsee it.
That's what people who copy off a test say. But I'll cover my Scantron. All right. So let me speak on this. So Mordo, right?
Yeah.
Mordo is the green guy. That's I'm gonna let you say his name because I'm not gonna try to say it. The 12 years a slave guy. And that's
Chiwetel.
racist. All right, there we go. So I think that he's gonna start off good and then he ultimately becomes evil. I think Strange will be the catalyst that pushes him to that brink.
Yeah.
So I think he's a bad guy, and it's right now they got the Walking Dead rules. There can't be too much diversity on one side. Like if you got Asians, blacks, and Hispanics on the good guy side, you need to start adding some Asians, blacks, and Hispanics on the bad guy side as well. That sounds very racist for me to say, but really, if you watch Walking Dead in MCU films and comic book movies in general, that is what they try to do. They try to spread their diversity. So I just think that this guy, I think he's the wild card. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like pulling the strings for the villain or whatever. So definitely I think he's gonna be bad. Have you ever heard of this guy named Dormammu?
No.
All right, just Google him. You've seen him before. You just haven't. Did you watch Fox 29 Spider-Man when you were growing up?
Yeah.
All right, if you watch around that time, they had an Iron Man cartoon.
Yeah.
They had a Spider-Man cartoon, and they had a Fantastic Four cartoon. So I've seen Dormammu before, and I also used to play like those video games as well. Like I think he was featured on a Capcom video game before. So if you Google him, you've seen him. He's just like, he has a fiery head. Other than Ghost Rider, he's one of the most menacing fiery head villains. Ghost Rider isn't a villain, sorry, whatever, however you want to look at it. But he's one of the most, renowned fiery head characters in the MCU. So when you look him up, you can be like, oh, I've seen him before. I just don't know his backstory. Other than Doctor Strange, he's the most iconic being from that universe, like Doctor Strange's world. And Doctor Strange, like if you notice what they've been doing with these the new MCU films, like I'm only basing this off of Ant-Man. So just Ant-Man. They put the iconic rival in the first film. So that's why I'm like, now they got to put Dormammu because nobody knows Doctor Strange, right? And people, so it's like if they want this to be a big hit, it's coming out in November. You want some money. There's a gap between, you know what I mean? I think they're trying to break every record. They've already broke August's record with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they're going to try to break a November record with this movie. So it's like, you got to give us the more iconic villain. So I think Dormammu, Google him when you get the chance. He's going to show up, and whether it's a mention or whether it's in like a closing credit scene or whatever, he's going to show up in some shape or fashion in this film. Like a little cameo. So I do not think he may be the one pulling the strings for Caecilius. So I just don't think, remember how you felt about Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, even though you like that movie and you fanboy out about it, but it's not that good, but you think it's really good?
I still like Dark Knight Rises.
That's what I just said. So basically, the same way you felt about Bane is the same way you're gonna feel about Caecilius. You're gonna feel like, oh, you're just a puppet. Oh man, you were so awesome in the first hour and a half, but then I found out Dormammu or Mordo was pulling your strings. Man. But Mikkelsen, I think he brings his A game when he plays a villain. So
always.
Yeah, so I mean those are my predictions about villains. You said they're gonna stick with one, but then you copied off of me, said they're gonna stick with two.
No, I have no choice.
I know.
No,
that's why I said you copied.
I can't
agree to agree. Let's move on. So I'm gonna let you go first this time. So let me. We're gonna talk about some characters that may stand out.
Okay.
And what I mean. Let me clarify. What I mean by this is Doctor Strange. He was mentioned in Civil War. You brought that up, not me, right?
Yeah. Oh, it was Winter Soldier.
Okay, my bad. Winter Soldier. I know what you meant though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he was mentioned in. I almost said it again. He was mentioned in Winter Soldier. I just find it hard to believe that you're going to release this big tentpole film, and you can see from the marketing that they have faith in the movie. They got all-star actors involved. So I do think he's going to play a major part in Infinity War. So you have to start plugging references now. So that way, when you go into the movie, you believe, oh, he lives in the same universe as, Steve Rogers. He
Yeah.
lives in the same universe as Hulk. So when I want you to, when I talk about standout characters, give me some characters that they'll use as a device to connect his universe to the MCU.
Okay, this is tough because like I've been debating this.
I might be wrong when I'm fake spoiler alert because we're not talking about the movie. These are fake predictions anyway. But my predictions, if they're not in the movie, I think you just need to give me a round of applause anyway because they make sense. I really put some thought into this section, so I'm like, man, this is pretty good ideas. But I'm gonna let you go first.
I think we might be on the same page because
trust me, we're not.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Like the characters I'm going to mention, nobody thinks of, and I think they're the easiest people to put in this movie because they're cheap. There were side characters in the other movie.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, that's pretty smart. Okay, but I think with the major character, mine is a major character, and the person I think they're gonna use is Tony Stark, because I think they might use him because, like you said, with the elements of the Illuminati. Mm-hmm. He might want to say like, hey, I want to use this guy. And I think with the way the MCU is going forward, I think he might be the new Nick Fury. Like the same way they're going to have him in Homecoming. Maybe not necessarily here. It probably won't be a big presence. It could be a small cameo. But I think they might use him just because of what Tony Stark is able to do, his prowess, his reach. Like he might be the one to say
Tony don't got no powers. So go ahead.
No, I'm talking about like
he's my favorite Avenger, but just
I
get
mean
it right.
like his reach, like as far as financially.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like
but you know, Doctor Strange lives in a world where he doesn't care about money because he goes broke trying to fix his hands.
I just mean like
that's another major.
He could be like, Strange. I see what you're saying. I was gonna say like he could be like, oh, Doctor Strange, like here I have this facility, I have this.
My bad. I'm just poking holes in your stuff. I just want to poke his. Feel free to poke holes in mine too. But I wanted to put Tony Stark so bad, but the reason why, and I put Tony Stark for everything because that's my favorite Avenger. So the reason why I'm not, because I just think that would have made the news already. You can't keep Robert Downey a secret nowadays. We knew about Homecoming since it was like the rumor mill and stuff, and I haven't heard his name pop up at all with Doctor Strange. However, in the comics and in the animated movies, and Tony Stark and you know what Hulk is to Tony, like what Bruce Banner is to Tony Stark in the MCU is the opposite of what I think Doctor Strange is going to be. I think they're going to clash, not in a beef type role because they already have Captain Rogers doing that. Yeah. But I think from a
philosophy,
they're going to have some. Yeah, because Tony believes that the cure to the key to saving mankind is it's technology.
Yeah.
Naturally, Doctor Strange is going to be the opposite because he used to think it was medicine, but now I think he thinks it's magic.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're, it would be perfect to put him in this film. Like whether it's at like, oh, we're going to speak at a seminar and, both of us are being recognized. I don't think they could actually put the physical body of Tony Stark in this movie though, because Robert Downey Jr., because of his contracts, I think he's just crossing off, movies. Because, he has that picture deal. I have to show in X amount of movies but before this contract expires. I don't think they would put him in this because they have to save it for big tent poles. Doctor Strange ain't no big tent pole like Spider-Man Homecoming is. Regardless of how you feel about these trailers, it's not a big property like Spider-Man. So they're not going to put Tony Stark in this. They may mention his name. So I'll agree with you there. But I'm going to piggyback off of your prediction. I'm not going to copy, but I'm going to use people from the Tony Stark world. And the reason being, Tony Stark had a horrible injury like that he sustained when he actually got, the metal things put in his chest or whatever. And he had to, if you watch Iron Man 3, the scenes that they didn't cut out, if you watch the deleted scenes or whatever, he had to find the best medicine and, medical doctor in the world to take that orb out of his chest, right? That's why he doesn't wear the chest piece anymore. I think that doctor may show up here because part of Doctor Strange's story is he gets his hands injured and he basically depletes his funds looking for someone to cure him because a doctor can't operate on himself, right? And I think he's going to go to that Asian doctor that was in Iron Man 3. Or he may go to the Asian doctor that was in Age of Ultron, the young lady who created the, Vision. Her, you know what I'm talking about? The machine that creates tissue. Yeah, so Dr. Wu, I just looked it up. Dr. Wu from Iron Man 3 may make a cameo, or Dr. Helen Cho will make, she's another possibility for a possible cameo. You know what, Hulk, I'm a little smarter than you with my predictions because I did some research and I looked on IMDb. As of today, their names aren't on the roster. So I'm going to bet that my predictions are probably wrong. Well, but guess who name I saw on this on the IMDb cast?
Who?
Thor's gonna be in this movie.
What?
Yeah, see, I haven't been paying attention to the news either.
That's pretty. It actually makes sense.
I thought you would have said Thor instead of Tony Stark. You know, because
I'm thinking more like you. Because I'm thinking, what if he's the one that did the surgery actually on Tony Stark? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he's the one that...
Because Marvel, you know when they say Marvel so white, that hashtag that was going around. Yeah. Because the way they marketed, I think Iron Man 3 is probably one of the best marketed films I've seen, you know, other than Deadpool. Regardless of what you think about Iron Man 3, the reason it broke those records is because people went into the theaters to see it because of the marketing. They got something totally different. And I do agree that some of that stuff was unfair, the way they marketed the film. But they were marketing big actors from China. And that's why they stole the Chinese market. So I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing. They got people from all over the world. And they made this.
And none of the companies do it now. They have to.
Yeah, but one thing, they give them those small roles. The thing about Iron Man is they played up Dr. Wu on wallpapers, posters, trending photos. But when you saw the movie, they cut out all the scenes. You know, that's why when you just brought it up, you said Doctor Strange is probably the one that operated on Tony's chest. I'm like, no, it was Dr. Wu. There's only one scene with him in Iron Man 3. 2 scenes because he meets him at the party, but you don't see it because they cut out all his other scenes. So, but Thor's in this movie. Let's move on to him. It makes sense because Thor Ragnarok comes out next year, right? Yeah. So really, these after credit trailers are just basically they're promoting the next film. So it makes sense that okay, Thor is gonna come in the after credit scene and it's gonna go a little something like this, like, hey, I got a movie coming out next year. You guys go see it. Basically, that's what they're gonna do. So I don't know. Try to predict that I may be wrong because it may not even be an after credit scene, but the fact that they didn't have him on his cast, they had him listed as cameo. You know, like when you go on IMDb, it basically says all the people in the movie.
That has,
and then it says additional cast members or whatever. So it's a cameo. And in the past, when you see something like that, it's because they're in the after credit scene. So
yeah,
try to predict. I may be setting you up because he may have a bigger role than I expect. But if his role is indeed an after credit scene, can you predict what the conversation is going to be?
It could be something where Thor sees him using the stones, one of the stones, very well, or he's able to have it, and Thor knowing the dangers of it. Because you saw that in what's that movie, Age of Ultron, where he briefly mentions like some of the powers of the stones and how dangerous they can be. So I think Thor can mention that to Strange, like, hey, we need you. A bigger threat is coming. You know, Thanos. You know what I'm saying? Thor
and the Guardians of the Galaxy are the only members in the MCU good guys that understand what the stones are right now. Because they got the little PowerPoint presentation on Guardians of the Galaxy. And Thor was able to have the vision in the hot tub. Yeah. So, yeah, like I do believe that's going to be a scene. Thor's going to make a cameo. Is going to be in the post credit, and he's gonna go to Doctor Strange about an Infinity Stone. It's like, hey, you got something I want, or hey, I know we're looking for the same thing. You know what I mean? But it just seems like Thor, after Age of Ultron, he went off to go on a hunt, like similar to Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's like, I'm gonna find all these Horcruxes. You know what I mean? So that's that. I think we're gonna push and agree on that. So, funnest part about all of these comic book movies, this is like I want you to guess who will die. This is the fun part. We may be totally wrong, but it's fun to predict who's gonna die. So, I'll say this. Let me go first on this section because you got to go first the other times. So, to me, this movie is like Ant-Man. It's the first movie in a new mini universe. So, I think when it comes to that, they don't ever make big risks. So I think they're only allowed to kill parents, spouses, or hopes and dreams. So I only think those type of people are going to die. And of course, villains. So I think Caecilius will definitely die because he's a villain. So that's no brainer. I also suspect, because Doctor Strange is too old to be, changing his whole life around from the death of a parent. That stuff usually happens with like Bruce Wayne when you lose a parent at the age of 9 or whatever. But I believe that his mother figure is going to be the Ancient One. You know who that is when I say that, right?
No.
All right, that's like, remember when Batman Begins went to the mountains and he was getting trained by
Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul. The Ancient One is Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
Basically, it's the one that trains him on how to use the magic and stuff.
That's the girl, Tilda Swinton? Okay.
Yes. So she's basically like some kind of guardian or something, and eventually he takes her place.
Wait, does she betray?
I'm like, I think
I don't want to get it spoiled. All right. Oh my God. All right.
No. She don't got no betraying bone in her body. She's not like Ra's al Ghul. No, not like that. She believes in, okay, we just got to keep the balance. Yoda is another example. That's a good example. So I think that the Ancient One's gonna die. Is to me.
Ooh, that early?
Yeah, wow. Man. Because I don't think you could have her and Doctor Strange in the same universe for more than one movie.
Yeah, she'll be too powerful.
Yeah, like Avengers gonna, like, if that's the case, Avengers, they're not going to meet with Doctor Strange. They're gonna be meeting with the Ancient One.
We were her.
Yeah, like, hey,
what do I need? Why do I need to meet the student?
We're here to talk to your boss, sir. Can you?
Yeah.
I just think that person has to die in order for him
Makes
to.
Sense. And now.
Yeah, so I think that's the only person that's dying in this movie. I think they're gonna play safe. Like, who died in what's the movie? Ant-Man. Nobody died. They just got sent to other dimensions. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't be. Marvel is scared to kill people nowadays.
That's why with my predictions, like I was gonna say no one.
But name a movie where somebody didn't die. I just named Ant-Man. Did nobody die in Ant-Man?
I don't think so.
Wow, that movie's safe as hell. Wow. All right, so if that's the case, I just think, like, you always kill somebody. Like in Iron Man 1, his dad dies, right? I mean, also not including villains.
Yeah.
But Iron Man 1, is it Henson or Jensen or Jensen? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
The guy in the cave with the machine gun?
I forgot how to pronounce his name, but yeah, he dies.
That guy died. Yeah. We don't need to remember how to pronounce his name. He's not meaningful. He died quickly. So he died. In Captain America,
the doctor, the one that
that's your mentor or somebody who saves your life is always supposed to die. That's how you get repaid. That's why if I'm in a Marvel movie, I'm not saving anybody. It's like, no, like if I save you, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in the war. No, I'm not gonna inspire you to be a hero. That means I'm gonna die. I think somebody has to die for you to have some type of emotion. And you don't bring in that type of actor who stole the show in Star Trek, 2. Like what I mean? So I don't know. You gotta give him an opportunity to show his little Oscar type.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking when I was just seeing the trailer. Like, they have him. Like he can exposit. He can deliver a monologue so perfectly.
Benedict is he's a serious thespian.
Yeah, he's a beast when it comes to.
You know what's so funny though? Like literally, what's so funny? I don't think you're gonna get the same Benedict Cumberbatch you're used to. Yeah,
I just want one scene, like just one scene where I get like that old Benedict, because the way Stephen Strange is he seems a little different from like what we're used to from Benedict, like from what we've grown accustomed to. So,
and the reason why I even say that, I may be wrong, but I'm looking it up right now. It's not showing up. Did Dan Harmon had nothing to do with the script? Because he's not showing up on IMDb credits.
Wow, I guess not.
But did you hear like he was involved with the script at all?
Not off the top of my head.
No, like I thought he was brought in like a script doctor or something to just add like a couple of like.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so I looked this up. It says Doctor Strange enlists Dan Harmon to write last minute scenes. Okay. So he didn't get the credit, but he did.
It was involved. Okay.
Now you remember when you told me and you Pinky Square you were gonna watch Community, but you never did. No biggie, right? Dan Harmon is actually, I don't know, like you watch Edgar Wright movies?
Yeah.
You see how Edgar Wright movies are just hilarious, but they hilariously don't make any sense. That world is just it's so crazy that it makes sense to you when you're watching it, but when you sit back and think like, it's not so. Dan Harmon is like that times 10. You know what I mean? On like writing wise, I put Edgar Wright over him. I like him, but what Dan Harmon's been able to do with Community, I think he's genius. But he's funny for no reason. Like that man is like joke, and it's all funny. That's why I'm like, wait, you bringing him in for a Benedict Cumberbatch movie? This movie's gonna be funny. People not expecting it to be funny, but I think you're gonna laugh at this movie a lot.
Yeah, I could see that. They had one thing where Chiwetel and his character were discussing something.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi line. I thought that was pretty funny. So if they have more jokes like that would be pretty cool.
I didn't, but that's cool.
Chill, it was cool.
I'm just like, that's just not. Please don't let that be your best joke. It's not. To me, it wasn't stale. It just was like, that's on some DC type stuff. Like if you put that in a DC movie, watch everybody hate. Be like, oh, DC always trying to be funny, but it's in Marvel. It's in Marvel, so let's love it. But I'm like, to me, I was like, that part isn't funny. But all right, so we kind of got into this next topic. It's will this movie be good? So right now, if you guess yes, you're just not. That's not a fair prediction because so far has Marvel made a movie that's not critically acclaimed?
No, not critically. Yeah.
So right now, when we ask will this movie be good, it's unfair. So I think we're both going to say yeah. Let's talk about how good this movie will be. So on a site that should not be named, there was news swirling around last week that on the first day out, they had it at like 99%, right?
Yeah.
So to me and you, obviously that doesn't mean a god darn thing.
No.
Because the site that should not be named has had a couple of missteps in the past. For example, Ghostbusters 2016, according to the site that should not be named, is an instant classic. Also, Batman v Superman is worse than Spawn's 1999 film, right? And the Star Wars prequels aren't that bad when you go to the site that should not be named. So I personally don't care what they have it at. So you can't really trust what they have to say, but you could just trust the logo. Marvel, they put out hit makers. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think this movie's gonna be good. I think the surprising part is actually gonna be funny. I just think that's something that you're not seeing in the trailer, but there has to be some humor there. Like, there's a couple of scenes that I've seen in the TV spots, and I'm like, okay, I can see that. I can see that turning into a joke. I see where they're going. That could be a bit, but I think Benedict Cumberbatch has star power, so the acting will be there. If you go and you just want to see some, Oscar type acting or whatever, you got Benedict Cumberbatch, but you also got Ejiofor, and you also got Mickelson. I said his name right. I'm talking about so I definitely think,
Rachel McAdams too. Like I like her. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, but she been in a couple of
stinkers.
Yeah, and the only reason I wanted to put her name down too, but I'm not gonna get slapped and be like, wait a minute, wasn't she in those movies with Matthew McConaughey? Like I just remember her having a spree of romantic comedies that went horribly wrong, and it probably wasn't her, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, you know who I used to mix her up with?
Who
do you think I used to mix her up with? I want to see if I'm not the only one who did this.
I'm trying to think.
I spent years thinking she was married to Ben Affleck until he did that Oscar speech. I'm like, wait, that's not Rachel McAdams. So I was
okay.
When I was younger, I was in middle school. Like I used to get their movies mixed up. Like to me, they were
Jennifer Garner and
exactly. So I remember Jennifer Garner was the one that did bad movies. So I'm like, wait, was it Rachel McAdams or Jennifer Garner? And I'm pretty sure if you look in their catalog, they've done movies with Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Reynolds. Both of them probably have. I'm guessing off the top of my head, but they used to do similar movies, and I'm like, I forget which one's the bad actor or the one that picks the bad scripts. So I didn't mention her name because some of that middle school Barry is still in my head. Like, no, that's the lady you get mixed up with Ben Affleck's wife.
Like I don't hold it too hard against them, because if you look at all these young actresses, they all have to have those in their catalog, like those romantic comedies. You know what I'm saying? Like they all, it's part of the game. That's why I don't really.
But the 2000 romantic comedies were like the worst of the worst. That's like when that genre really took a nosedive.
Yeah.
So if you made movies around that time, that's why you don't never see Drew Barrymore anymore. Like she doing the same thing that all these other hot star actors are doing today, but we're less forgiving. Like, nah, you was in those Adam Sandler movies. Get out of here. No. But I think you're gonna have acting. The action I think is gonna be it's gonna be regular. And what I mean by that is I think Captain America, Winter Soldier, you could even throw Civil War into that piece. what they've been able to do with those films, action-wise, I think Marvel's taking a leap forward. But I also think they're reserving those sequences and stuff for Captain America movies or Avenger type movies. So I don't think you're gonna get the fight choreography that you're used to seeing with Avenger films or Captain America films. But definitely, I think this movie will be good. I think it'll be hilarious, and it will be successful. It's gonna break some type of record for November, and in the next 4 weeks, you're gonna hear them say, "Hey, Doctor Strange sequel in the works. Doctor Stranger." You know what I mean? So that's my opinion. Let me hear yours.
Yeah, same here. I think it's gonna be anywhere between a 7 and 7.5, which is like good, very good. Like you said, with me, I think hopefully like the visuals are pretty cool. Like I'm a big fan of Inception. I love
That's
that
what
movie.
everybody's saying.
So
that's what
if
everybody's
it
saying.
could somewhere even copy it a little bit, but add something as well to like anything like visuals and cinematography. So if they could hit any of those elements, I'll be entertained. Yeah, like just be different. Like you don't have to like. I like the fact that it's a different.
You just said you want them to copy, but then you said you want them to be different.
I meant
I can edit it out if you want. But
you
go
don't
ahead.
have to edit out what I meant.
I won't. I wasn't. I was lying. But go ahead.
What I meant by copy was, okay, if you're borrowing some of the elements of Inception, I wouldn't be mad at that. And as far as being different, be different from every other comic book movie. Like be your own thing. Like, especially with a genre dealing with magic, you have that opportunity. So that's what I'm hoping from Doctor Strange.
He's not my favorite director. My favorite directors are Quentin Tarantino and Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
However, their editing style is based a lot about, they kind of parody stuff that's already hot. Like Quentin Tarantino, I love him as a director, and really I love him more as a script writer, really.
Yeah.
But he makes his money off of kind of parodying, parody, ing, I can't say that word, that word, parodying, there we go. Those type of Westerns and those type of blaxploitation films, right?
Yeah.
So, and Edgar Wright, similar, like he basically, his style is different, but it's all about stuff that I see from other directors anyway. Like, I see, what's homeboy who did Star Wars Episode 7? JJ.
Yeah.
I see JJ do a lot of that. When you just focus on the object that's not really part of the scene, like, hey, show a close up of this beer, getting filled or whatever. He focuses on stuff that are mundane in the scene. So their styles aren't necessarily innovative. The only person that can show me stuff that I haven't thought of or seen before, I'm going to give it to Chris Nolan. He's not my favorite, but he probably in my top 5 now. You know what I mean? It's like, like, boom, like, okay, boy is bad. Like, he's different. When it comes to visuals and stuff like that, not even with visuals. I don't think he all that with visuals, but it's hard for me, like, because the praise this film is getting for visuals, I don't know. It's just very hard for me to be like, okay, like, this is showing me something I've never seen before. I don't think that's the point of my 24 Reason videos. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm not gonna fault the film for that, but I just think some of that is exaggeration. Like I just think
that's why I didn't really that's why I said I didn't mind if they copied. Like if they copied some of the scenes,
they did.
Some of the stuff that scene, like I've seen in Inception. If I see some of that here, like I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be like, oh man, they copied from Inception, or man, they copied from Matrix. I'll be like, I'll be more mad at the site that should not be named because everybody saying, oh, the visuals are so awesome. If it's the same thing I seen from Matrix, I can't rate it
I'm
so
like,
high.
The visuals are the same as Matrix. Like, shut up. You just want, traffic to your site.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna overly praise them. I'll just be like, okay, I'll give them a little check, but I'm not gonna give them a check plus. Yeah.
I gave them a check because they probably gonna charge me 3D. That's the crap I don't like.
No,
they try to force you to watch 3D.
IMAX 3D, so.
Bro, IMAX more expensive than 3D now. I spent $20 on the ticket. Boy, I'm changing the subject. Guys, it's about that time. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, let us know your predictions in the comment sections wherever you're watching this. We're anxious to hear what you guys think. Before you leave, if you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever you go for your podcast. Don't let this be the last time we hear from you or you hear from us. Support the show by giving us a rating and a review on iTunes. It would really mean a lot, guys. Also, join us next week, and make sure to check us out where you can find us weekly. It's Couch Tomato Films on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Couch Tomato Film on Twitter. Other than that, peace.